Hello students. So our today's topic is relative size of numbers. So this is about comparison. This is extension of arithmetic. Very simple chapter. We just want to compare two numbers. Those two numbers can be like natural numbers, integers, which are very obvious and you know how to compare them. Comparison in the sense ki kaun sa bada hai, kaun sa chota hai, which number is bigger, which is smaller, are they equal or not? These kinds of comparison. Secondly, we want to compare two fractions. And thirdly, which is a bit tricky part, which on which questions have been asked, is comparison of two powers. That is what we want to do. Let us see. I am sure you must know these symbols. This is greater than, this is A greater than B. This is A less than B. This is A greater than or equal to B. Here we mean that greater than or मतलब दोनों में से कुछ भी चलेगा. This is or greater than or equal, दोनों भी चलेगा. In this case 5 greater than 3 greater than or equal to 3 is absolutely correct statement, and 5 greater than or equal to 5 is also absolutely correct statement. Similarly to greater than, we have less than or equal to sign, and finally we have equality sign. A is equal to B. I'm sure you are familiar with all these signs. Then these are some basic rules. It should be kind of revision for you guys. There is nothing additional knowledge from what you must have already studied, but let us go through them nonetheless. Positive number is always greater than negative number. So if you imagine a number line like this, here we have 0, here we have positive numbers, here we have negative numbers. So number on the right hand side, your right hand side, is always going to be bigger than number on the left hand side. Positive number is always greater than negative number. Then if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, then A is greater than C. Matlab, if A is to the right of C and A is to the right of B and C is to the right of B, then C is definitely to the right of A, meaning C is definitely greater than A. Next, A greater than B, then A plus C greater than B plus C, or A minus C greater than B minus C. So adding a constant or subtracting a constant from both sides of an inequality does not change the inequality. तो constant add करो, या तो add करो दोनों side, या फिर subtract करो, doesn't matter. क्योंकि addition है, because addition or subtraction, what is that? It is jump. So if we have let us say A here, B here, A is greater than B, then adding a constant C, meaning both of them will jump by the same quantity on the right. Subtracting, meaning both of them will jump to the left, and in any case the new quantity will remain to the right of the original on the quantity which was lesser, because the jump is by a constant. Fine. Next, if A is greater than B and we multiply both the sides by a number greater than 0, then inequality does not change. So matlab, if C is greater than 0 and we multiply both the sides of inequality by that constant which is greater than 0, then inequality does not change. ये sign ऐसे की ऐसे रहती. AC greater than BC. If C is less than 0, then inequality reverses. Again, इसमें कोई भी confusion हो, please just take an example. For example, let us take 5 greater than 3 as our initial thing. If you multiply by a number greater than 0, for example, let us multiply both the sides by 2, 10 and 6. Still, inequality does not change. And if you multiply by a number less than 0, which is, let us multiply by -2, यहाँ पे 2 से multiply किया, -2 से करते हैं. 5 into -2 is -10. 3 into -2 is -6. So now -6 is bigger than -10. So inequality has reversed. And if you multiply both the sides by 0, both left hand side and right hand side become 0. So we have equality instead of inequality. Fine. So ये हो गया. Next, A greater than B and C greater than D. Then if you add both the left hand sides, A plus C, then they are greater than both the right hand sides in this case. But इसमें observe that both here we have same things, which is number which is greater on the same side, then only we can add in this way. Then a greater than b, then any power of a is greater than any power of b, provided that power is positive. So if n is greater than 0, then a raised to n is greater than b raised to n. And conversely, if we have n less than 0, then a raised to n would be less than b raised to n. तो इसका एक एग्जांपल ये है कि if we have a greater than b, then a raised to -1, which is negative power, and b raised to -1, तो यहाँ पे inequality will change. If you take negative powers, inequality will change. If you have positive powers, inequality stays the same. तो यहाँ पे 1 by a raised to -1 is 1 by a, हमने कल देखा था in last lecture, like when we were studying fractions, वहां पे ये हमने डिफाइन किया था. Then 1 by a is less than 1 by b. तो a b से बड़ा है तो 1 by b से छोटा है. Again example you can take. We have 3 greater than 2, but 1 by 3 ये जो है ये 1 by 2 से छोटा है. This is you know as 0.33 and this is you know as 0.5 या फिर half. ठीक है. Fine. Next, again special case, a greater than b, then square root of a is greater than square root of b. Square root मतलब power 1 by 2. Square root is power 1 by 2 because 1 by 2 is greater than 0. And here we have this property. इस property से हमें पता है root of a is greater than root of b. Next, किसी भी number का square, any number का square is always greater than 0 if that number is non-zero. Meaning negative number square is also a positive number and positive का square is also a positive number. Why is that? Because we know that negative number into negative number is a positive number. ये हमने पहले भी when we studied, when we talked about powers and squares and cubes, then we saw this. Next, या फिर I think this is the last thing that we want to do. Fine. If we have both a and b as greater than 0, both a and b are greater than 0, and ऐसा कुछ है, a यहाँ पे है, b यहाँ पे है, and 0 is somewhere here. So a and b are greater than 0. And if we want to talk about any number here, कोई भी इनके दोनों के बीच में कोई x है, then we have a less than x less than b. And if we square these things, तो फिर क्या होगा? 1, इसके लिमिट्स क्या होंगे? मतलब range of the squares that lie between the squares of numbers between these things. Range of square. Range मतलब क्या होता है? छोटे से छोटा और बड़े से बड़ा. छोटे से छोटा क्या हो सकता है और बड़े से बड़ा क्या हो सकता है? That is the range. So range would be a would go to here a square, b would go to b square. तो ये क्या हो गया? Range. कोई भी नंबर x जो इन दोनों के बीच में है, that square will always lie in between a square and b square. So we are having a square less than x square less than b square. Correct? Very simple. This is the first case. Ki when we have both a and b as greater than 0, then this happens. For example, we have 3. We have here 0. Here we have 3. Here we have 5. And if you want to talk about squares of these numbers that are in between 3 and 5, then what we will have? 3 square less than x square less than 5 square. मतलब वो जो भी squares है वो 9 and 25 के बीच में ही होंगे. That is what we mean. That is the range of squares of these numbers. Range मतलब छोटे से छोटा वो 9 हो सकता है, बड़े से बड़ा वो 25 हो सकता है. Because all the numbers are between 3 and 5. Next case, what if both the numbers are less than 0? Like a and b are both less than 0. तो यहाँ पे अब 0 है, यहाँ पे let us say a है and यहाँ पे let us say b है. तो because these are negative numbers, I am also writing negative signs. So what about numbers that lie between these a and b now, minus a and minus b? उनके squares पे क्या होगा? When we square minus a, we know that minus a का square is also a square and minus b का square is b square, positive b square, because squares are always positive. Minus के a का square मतलब क्या है? Minus a into minus a, which is a square, because ये minus minus मिला के plus बनाएंगे. तो square of this number is, if you square, it will go to some a square, positive a square, and minus b का square will go to b square, अब यहां पे इवन दो माइनस बी इज लेस देन माइनस ए, क्योंकि वो लेफ्ट में है ज्यादा, बट बिकॉज उसकी एब्सोल्यूट वैल्यू ज्यादा है, मतलब ऐसा ले लो 0, -3 एंड -5. Here -5 is less than -3, but if we square these numbers, -3 square would be 9 and -5 square would be 25. माइनस बी का स्क्वायर जो कि बी स्क्वायर है, इट वुड बी टू द राइट ऑफ ए स्क्वायर. तो फिर ये जो भी नंबर्स है इनके स्क्वायर्स कहां जाएंगे? इन दोनों के बीच में जाएंगे नेचुरली. सो वी हैव -b लेस देन x लेस देन -a, देन we have a square less than x square less than b square, जो कि इनके स्क्वायर है, that would be between a square and b square. ठीक है, तो when we square these numbers we'll have 9 less than x square less than 25. ठीक है, that is case number 2. Next case we have something like this. Here we have 0, here we have a, and here we have -a. Now what happens for to a number that is between -a and a? 0 clearly उन दोनों के बीच में होगा, right? And what we have seen, हमें क्या चाहिए? हमें तो पहले तो रेंज चाहिए. We want range of squares of numbers that lie between -a and a. तो when we square any number, that is always a positive number. So what happens is any square is positive number. मतलब if the number is non-zero, then square is positive. 0 का square 0 होता है. 0 square is 0, and other numbers उनके सारे बाकी numbers के square जो है वो positive होते हैं. All the other numbers, squares of all the other numbers are positive. So that will always be greater than 0. तो 0 ही सबसे छोटा square है. 0 is the smallest square number. तो if we have a 0 in this range, तो छोटे से छोटी वैल्यू तो हमेशा 0 होगी. या फिर ऐसा सोचते हैं, लेट अस स्प्लिट दिस रेंज. लेट अस टॉक अबाउट नंबर्स हियर -a to 0 के बीच में से. तो इनके स्क्वायर्स कहां जाएंगे? -a स्क्वायर वुड बी a स्क्वायर, राइट? -a स्क्वायर वुड बी a स्क्वायर एंड 0 स्क्वायर वुड बी 0 ओनली. वो वहीं पे रुकेगा. 0 स्क्वायर इज 0. सो ऑल द नंबर्स हियर वुड हैव स्क्वायर्स इन बिटवीन 0 एंड a स्क्वायर. सो 0 लेस देन x स्क्वायर लेस देन a स्क्वायर. एंड व्हाट अबाउट नंबर्स बिटवीन 0 एंड a स्क्वायर? Again 0 would stay with 0 and a goes to a square. तो उनके लिए भी this would be the range, right? So if we have numbers in the range of -a to a, if you look at all these numbers from the range of -a to a, then their squares would be between 0 to a square. Because यहाँ के numbers है उनका भी squares 0 to a square के बीच में होंगे, and जो यहाँ पे numbers है 0 to a के बीच में, उनके squares भी 0 to a square के बीच में ही होंगे, because 0 का square is 0. That is the least value. This was case number 3, and last case is this. We have something like this. We have 0 here, we have a here, and we have -b here. ठीक है? For our purposes, this is one case, sub case, and then we can take something like this: -b here 0 and a here. यहाँ पे a की वैल्यू बड़ा है and यहाँ पे b की वैल्यू बड़ी है, absolute value without signs. So what happens here? If the number is between 0 to a, हमने क्या देखा? 0 less than x square less than a square, right? And what if number is between 0 to -b? Then 0 less than x square less than b square. तो what is the range now? a square कुछ यहाँ पे है and b square कुछ यहाँ पे, because b is greater than a. तो if you look at it closely, this 0 to a square वाला जो चीज है ये वाली, that is already included in 0 to b square, right? That is already part of 0 to b square or not? 0 to a square जो है वो already 0 to b square में included है. So actual range is this only, 0 less than x square less than b square. सबसे छोटा वैल्यू 0 है, सबसे बड़ा वैल्यू b square हो सकता है, because a square is already included in this range 0 to b square. And in this second case, what will happen? Because b is less than a now, so range would be, if square is, if you take numbers here, then we'll have 0 less than x square less than b square, and if you take number here, we'll have 0 less than x square less than a square. then in this case, this 0 to b square range is already included in 0 to a square. So फिर we can only write this as 0 to a square without including b square, because 0 to b square range, 0 to b square values are already included in this range. रेंज का मतलब कुछ नहीं है, छोटे से छोटी और बड़ी से बड़ी वैल्यू क्या हो सकती है इस x स्क्वायर की, जब x एक नंबर है इस रेंज में, -a to -b to a में से. These are the 4 cases and I have written all of them here. And here is the tip: whenever you feel any confusion, just take an sample to verify the inequality. Fine. I hope that is clear. Next is the simplest of all, comparison of natural number. जो मैंने क्या बोला, natural numbers is 1 2 3 4 5 6. The number which is to the right is the bigger one, number which is to the left is smaller one. That is all. And just based on this comparison was this question. You just had to plot all the information that you have. Sum of income of A and B is more than that of C and D. So we have A plus B greater than C plus D. We have sum of income of A and C same as B and D. So we have A plus C is equal to B plus D. Then A earns half as much as sum of income of B and D. So we have A is equal to B plus D by 2. Question is, whose income is the highest? ठीक है, so we have A as B plus D by 2. If you put this value of A here from this equation as B plus D by 2, तो you will get, इन दोनों से आपको क्या मिलेगा, C is equal to B plus D by 2, because right hand side is B plus D, ये B plus D by 2 है, तो इसको भी B plus D by 2 होना पड़ेगा. तो A और C इक्वल है, A is equal to C आ जाएगा. तो यहाँ पे आप A is equal to C डालोगे तो A and C you can cancel because constant है वो. We have seen the property that when you add constant to the inequality or when you subtract constant from inequality, inequality does not change. तो ये constant आपने A और C subtract कर दिए दोनों साइड से because they are equal. तो आपको क्या आ जाएगा, B greater than D आ जाएगा. B greater than D आ जाएगा. A and C anyway are equal and they would be between B and D. तो highest कौन हो गया? Naturally B हो गया. This was CSE 2017. Again, very simple. A runs less fast than B. So A less than B. B runs as fast as but not faster than C. So less than equal to C. So as compared to A, C का क्या होगा? So A यहाँ पे है, B runs faster than A and C is less than or equal to, sorry, yes, C runs greater than or equal to C. So C can be here or here. But in any case, here or here, it will always be above A. So faster than C will always run faster than A. As simple as that. Next is comparison of integers. Similar hai, काफी integers means only natural numbers are also included. Earlier we were talking about natural numbers. Now negative numbers are also included. Here we have 0, here we have negative, here we have positive. Numbers on the right are always bigger than numbers on the left. As simple as that. And here we will use the properties that we were studying. X is between -3 and -1, right? And Y is between -1 and 1. So -1 less than Y less than 1. So we want to talk about this quantity, x square minus y square. So let us firstly say, look at what are the ranges of x square and y square. See, -3, 3 is bigger than 1. So range of this would be 0 because 0 is in this range. So 0 less than x square less than 9. And here we have 0 less than y square less than 1 because 0 is also in this range. So now here x square and y square ka subtraction of x square and y square is the quantity that we want to comment about. This is subtraction of two positive numbers because you see both are positive, both are squares, so both are positive. We want to talk about subtraction of two positive numbers and we want to talk about range of that subtraction. Range meaning स्मॉलेस्ट वैल्यू ऑफ दिस सब्ट्रैक्शन टू द बिगेस्ट वैल्यू ऑफ दिस सब्ट्रैक्शन, छोटे से छोटी वैल्यू इस चीज की एंड बड़े से बड़ी वैल्यू, दैट वुड बी द रेंज. नाउ this quantity, when will it be smallest? Subtraction of two positive numbers, when will it be smallest? When this is the small, this would be smallest and this is as big as possible. छोटे से छोटा x square minus बड़े से बड़ा y square, that is the smallest value of this subtraction, है ना. x square को जितना छोटा बना सकते हो बनाओ, y square को जितना बड़ा बना सकते हो बनाओ, and उन दोनों का subtraction would be the smallest possible value of this quantity. So x square की smallest value, you know, 0. Y square biggest value is 1. This is the smallest value. Less than x square minus y square. Less than. अब we want biggest value of this quantity. Biggest possible x square is 9. And smallest possible y square is 0. This is the range. We have minus 1 less than this quantity less than 9. Okay, here make it minus 1 and you will get the answer. Answer would be this minus 1 to 9. Fine. This was not a PYQ. I have made it, so I think there was misprint. Fine. I hope you understood, because once you find out the ranges of these squares, now you only have to comment about subtraction of two positive number. कि सब्ट्रैक्शन छोटी कब सबसे छोटी कब होगी और सब्ट्रैक्शन सबसे बड़ी कब होगी. नाउ x square minus y square is smallest when x square is as small as possible and y square is as big as possible, क्योंकि वो नेगेटिव में. And this quantity would be the largest when x square is as large as possible and y square is as small as possible. And hence you get the answer. Next, we want to talk about comparison of fractions. We want to compare two fractions. Very simple. If the denominator is, we have made cases. First case is if denominator is same, then जिसका numerator बड़ा वो fraction बड़ा. The fraction with bigger numerator is bigger. 3/7 and 4/7. They have same denominator and thus 4/7 is greater than 3/7. Next, when numerator is same, 5/7 and 5/8. In this case, the number which with smaller denominator is bigger. तो मतलब 5/7 and 5/8 है, तो 5/7 is bigger than 5/8. 5/7 का क्या मतलब है? We make 7 parts and take 5 out of this. And 5/8 का क्या मतलब है? We make 8 parts of the say cake and take 5 out of those. अब ज्यादा कौन सा होगा? 7 पार्ट बनाओगे और उसमें से 5 लोगे तो बड़ा केक मिलेगा ना आपको. इंस्टेड ऑफ 8 पार्ट्स बना के 5 पार्ट लेना. ले आप 5 ही पार्ट रहे हो दोनों केस में, बिकॉज न्यूमरेटर इज 5 ओनली. इन बोथ द केसेस यू आर टेकिंग 5 पार्ट्स, बट इन द फर्स्ट 5/7 you are making 7 equal parts of the cake and taking 5 out of that. And in the next we are making 8 equal parts of the cake and taking 5 out of that. So naturally 5 out of 7 parts you would get more cake. So 5/7 is bigger. You can think in those terms as well. And last case is the most general case that can be applied in the first two cases as well. Here, if the numerator and denominator are not same, what we'll do? We'll simply cross multiply. We'll simply cross multiply a into d and b into c. If a into d is bigger, then this fraction is bigger. If c into b is bigger, then this fraction is bigger. For example, I'll take random fractions 5/7 and 8/12. We want to compare these two fractions. What we'll do? 5 into 12 and here 8 into 7. जिसका न्यूमरेटर जहां पे वहां पे लिखना है. This is 60, this is 56, this is bigger, so this is bigger. As simple as that. Next, कुछ और एग्जांपल ले लेते. 7/13 and 9/16. 16 into 7 और यहाँ पे 9 into 13. Here 9/16 is bigger. 117 is bigger. तो जो भी न्यूमरेटर यहाँ पे लेना है, यहाँ पे मल्टीप्लाई करना है, ये क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई करना है, एंड जो भी मल्टीप्लीकेशन बढ़ा वो फ्रैक्शन भी बढ़ा. द बिगर द क्रॉस मल्टीप्लीकेशन द बिगर द फ्रैक्शन. तो यहाँ पे 7 है तो यहाँ पे 16 into 7 लिखना है. हियर वी हैव 9 तो यहाँ पे 9 into 13 लिखना है. एंड बिगर द जो भी बड़ा क्रॉस मल्टीप्लीकेशन है दैट फ्रैक्शन इज ऑल्सो बिगर. एंड लास्ट यू हैव दिस. इफ यू हैव नंबर्स लाइक दिस कि m by m plus 1 मतलब कुछ 9 by 10, 11 by 12 या फिर 17 by 18, m by m plus 1 टाइप का कुछ है, then bigger the numbers, bigger the fraction. So we have 17 by 18 is greater than 11 by 12. 9 by 10 से 11 by 12 बड़ा है. इसको ऐसे भी सोच सकते हो that we are making 10 equal parts and taking 9 parts out of it. मतलब एक तुम्हें दे रहा हूं बस. Here we are making 12 parts and just giving one out of those. So that 11 parts that I am taking would be bigger portion of the cake because मैं और छोटे छोटे parts कर रहा हूँ और उसमें से छोटा parts तुम्हें देता जा रहा हूँ, बाकी मेरे पास रख रहा हूँ. तो जो मेरे पास आएगा वो मैक्सिमम कब होगा? जितने छोटे टुकड़े करूंगा उतनी बार. So this 17 by 18 would be bigger क्योंकि 18 parts I am making and just giving you one small part and taking rest of the cake with myself. So I'll have bigger cake compared to 9 by 10. ऐसे भी सोच सकते हो. या फिर you can, if you don't want to remember this, so then cross multiply and check. That works everywhere. Then this was the question in 2020. We have which of the following is largest? So nothing, we just have to apply our basic rules of powers and these fractions. 1 by 2 raised to minus 6 meaning 1 by 2 raised to minus 6 is equal to 2 raised to 6, which is what 2 raised to 6 is 64. We have second 1 by 4 raised to minus 3 is equal to 4 raised to 3 is equal to 64. Third 1 by 3 raised to minus 4 is equal to 3 raised to 4 is equal to 81. And last 1 by 6 raised to minus 2 is equal to 6 raised to 2 is equal to 36. Question is which is the largest number? Largest number is 81 or option number C. Next, if the numerator and denominator of a proper fraction. Now this is where terminologies become important, that they are saying this proper fraction. Had they not given this proper fraction, then answer would have been different. Proper fraction क्या होता है? I hope you remember. In the proper fraction, we have numerator less than denominator. And what they are saying, we are increasing both the numerator and denominator by a positive quantity. So we are having, and we want to compare original fraction with the new fraction. So original fraction is a by b and the new fraction is a plus k by b plus k. Let us assume both are being increased by a small positive quantity k. How do we compare? Cross multiplication. That is how we compare. So a into b plus k, and here we can write a plus k into b. So you'll have ab plus ak, and here you'll have ab plus bk. We want to compare. Sign यहाँ पे कौन सी जाएगी ये हमें decide करना है. So now ab can be cancelled because both are positive quantities, so can be cancelled without changing the inequality. And यहाँ पे we have ak, यहाँ पे we have bk. We can divide both the sides by k, so k can be cut, and it is given that we have this positive k. If the k was negative, then we would have to reverse the inequality, but k is positive, so we can cut k from both the sides without changing the inequality. And we have here a, here b. We already know that because this is a proper fraction, a is less than b. So here also less than, here also less than, here also less than. So answer is resulting fraction is always greater than original fraction. And that is possible to conclude only because this is known, that we have a proper fraction. If the proper fraction was not known, तो ये conclude नहीं कर सकते थे, तो ये भी नहीं कर सकते थे, ये भी नहीं कर सकते थे, ये भी नहीं कर सकते थे. Answer would have been D. Nothing can be claimed. But because the examiner has told you that this is a proper fraction, we can certainly conclude option number B as the correct answer here. You can also go by putting the values, but when you are putting the values in any question, not only here, at least put 2-3 different values to ensure that you are getting the correct answer because it is correct and not just because it works for that particular case या फिर that particular example. So please ensure that if you are putting values, you are putting at least 2-3 different values. Next, which one of the following will have minimum change in the value if 5 is added to both the numerator and denominator? अब यहाँ पे क्या करना है? 5 is being added ना, तो fraction would be increased because all of them are proper fractions. So just add करना है ये original fraction, and if you add 5 to both numerator and denominator, it will become 7/8. ये करना है calculate. फिर again second fraction 3/4, new fraction 8/9, subtract करना है, and ये जो भी answers आएंगे उनमें से सबसे छोटा जो है that would be the answer. So manual calculation है, only subtraction of fractions is involved. I hope you will be able to do this. X and y are natural numbers greater other than 1, that is also given. Y is greater than x. Which of the following represents highest possible number? Just take 2-3 different examples of x and y as per the question and find out the answer. Naturally also you can simply observe that multiplication सबसे बड़ा होता है generally, तो वही answer है इसमें. And lastly, a bit tricky part, honestly, where we have to compare powers. Let me show you how to do that. Comparing powers, sometimes questions are asked, but whatever questions that have been asked are very, very easy questions. So we'll go one step beyond that. Let us see. Let us see. If you have same base, that is case number 1, so the number with highest power is higher number. वो very, very logical. मतलब if we have say everywhere base 2 is there, so 2⁵, 2⁵ से बड़ा है, 2⁵, 2⁵2 square से बड़ा है, 2⁴1.4894 जो भी है क्वांटिटी की उससे बड़ा है, that would be bigger than 2⁻3. So if the base is same, then number with higher power is bigger number. As simple as that. Second case, when the power is same, then the number which has a larger base is the bigger number. 2 and 3, both here we have 2 cube, here we have 3 cube. 3 is same, here also 3 is same. So 2 cube is going to be less than 3 cube because 2 is less than 3. If the power is same, then larger the base, larger the number. If the base is same, larger the power, larger the number. That is very, very logical, very normal. Then 3.1278, I don't know what that number is. That cube would have to be bigger than 3 ka cube, right? Very, very normal, very logical. Again, here everywhere power is 12.12, 12.12. We don't have to we don't have to tell what is the answer or what is this quantity. That we don't care about. We just care about inequality. कि कौन सा बड़ा है, कौन सा छोटा है. So if the powers are same, then larger the base, larger the number. Larger the base, larger the number, obviously. The third case, which is the tricky part, where neither the base nor the power is same. अब base भी same नहीं है, power भी same नहीं है. अब क्या करोगे बताओ? That is the trickiest part, and we'll see that. What we'll do, we'll use the known rules. One. Secondly, in this, some questions which we are going to discuss, some kind of intuition, initial intuition is required, and usse we'll try to arrive at the conclusion using what we already know about some powers of the same numbers. That is what we want. And thirdly, what we want to do is to be able to comment upon comparison of powers of 2 and 3. मतलब बाकी numbers का भी comparison important है, but basically we want to compare 2 and 3 ka powers, because UPSC, if at all they ask, they are going to ask us about powers of 2, 3, 4, 5, not more than that. Let us see the first question. We'll see this see this section through questions. First, 2⁵ and 3⁵. Which is greater? See, powers is same. Larger the base, larger the number. This is going to be greater. Next, 2⁵, 3⁴. Ab, what we'll do? See, these are small numbers. Anyway, we know. So we'll just directly calculate and be done with it. So 2 raised to 5 is 32. 3 raised to 4 is 81. 81 is greater than 32. So we already know. जहां पे भी हमें जो भी पता है वो यूज किया जा सकता है वो करो. ठीक है. Don't wait for the formulas. Manually जितना कर सकते हो, जितना as much as you can, please keep it simple. Don't complicate things unnecessarily. Now 2 raised to 10 and 3 raised to 6. Now this is bigger powers. Now we don't have time to compute all of them. So what we'll do? We'll try to use earlier result. So this is 2 raised to 10, 3 raised to 6. Look at the 10 and 6. You see that HCF of 10 and 6 is 2, right? So what if I write this 2 raised to 10 as 2 raised to 5 ka square, and I'll write 3 raised to 6 as 3 raised to cube ka square. 5 into 2, 10, 3 into 2, 6. Fine. Now what I have is, if I treat this number as base, if I treat these numbers as base, we have same power, 2. Now when we have same powers, larger the base, larger the number. So this number is 32, this number is 27. Which is bigger? 32 is bigger. So this number is bigger. So this number is bigger. Fine. What we used? We used our prior knowledge. Prior knowledge kaun sa? Ki when powers are same, then larger the base, larger the number. So we tried very hard to ensure that powers are same. Originally it was not same, but we used our basic rules of powers to write it in a such a way that powers become same, and then we just had to compare the bases. Next. Two raised to 9 and 4 raised to 4. Now we want to compare 2 and 4, but we already know that 4 is 2 square. So I'll write this 4 as 2 square, power 4, which is 2 raised to 8. Now we have 2 raised to 8, 2 raised to 9. 2 raised to 9 is clearly going to be bigger. Fine. So whenever we have 4, 8, 27, etc., any squares or cubes, convert them back to powers of 2 and 3. Next, 2 raised to 14, 8 raised to 5. 2 raised to 14, 8 raised to 5. 8 is 2 ka cube. 8 is 2 cube raised to 5, which is 2 raised to 5 3s are 15. So 2 raised to 15, 2 raised to 14, clearly 2 raised to 15 is bigger. Next, now the 3 ka powers, 3 ka power 25, 27 power 8, 27 is 3 cube. This is 3 cube raised to 8 is equal to 3 raised to 8 3s are 24, 3 raised to 24, 3 raised to 25, 3 raised to 25 is bigger. Now see the real challenge. 27 and 4 raised to 16. 4 raised to 16 is also 2 square raised to 16 is equal to 2 raised to 32. Fine. So basically we want to compare about 3 raised to 27 and 2 raised to 32. Fine. Now, if you look at base of this number is bigger. If you look at power of that number is bigger. And 27 and 32, there is no HCF, no other number that is common factor of these two numbers. These are co-prime numbers because one is the HCF. So we can't do that also. Now what we'll do is we'll use our intuition or little bit of application. Just look at these numbers. This is 3 raised to 21. This is 2 raised to 32. The powers are not that far away. This 27, 32. इतने भी दूर नहीं है. And if you look at initial few powers of 2 and 3, powers of 2 are 1, 2, 4, then 8, 16, then 32, 64, 128, etc. If you look at powers of 3, it is 1, 3, 9, 27, then 81, then 243. If you look at it, powers of 3 increase much more quickly than powers of 2, right or not? So my initial hunch, my initial guess is that this number might be bigger, and I'm going to work on that hunch. Okay? This is not a mathematical way or the mathematical proof that this is bigger. This is just my hunch, and I'm going to prove my hunch now. How? So I'll start with a known power of 3 which is bigger than known power of 2. जैसे कि I know that 9 is greater than 8 or 3 square is greater than 2 cube. I know this. 8 is 2 cube, 3 square is 9. So that is already known to me. So I have started from there. Now what will I do is, now I will try to make this power of 2 from 3 to 32. That is what I'll try to do and see what happens to left hand side. What first will I do? From 3, if I take 10th power of both the sides, if I take a 10th power of both the sides, inequality won't change because 10 is a positive number. So I'll have 3 raised to 2 की power 10 here, and here I'll have 2 raised to 3 की power 10. This would be bigger because inequality won't change. I'm taking positive power. That is why inequality won't change. So I'll have 3 raised to 20 greater than 2 raised to 30. Simple. Now I want to go from 30 to 32. What will I do? I'll just multiply by 4 both the sides. So I'll get 4 into 3 raised to 20 is greater than 2 raised to 32. So I have arrived at this 2 raised to 32 now. Fine. अब मैं क्या करूंगा? This quantity I'll try to make into this. So this 4 is unwanted for me here because it is a power of 2. I'll replace it with a bigger number which is power of 3. कैसे? मैं लिखूंगा इसको 9 into 3 raised to 20. इससे तो बड़ा ही होगा because this 3 raised to 20 into 4 and this is 3 raised to 40 into 3 raised to 20 into 9. So this quantity has to be bigger, na? Natural सी बात है. This quantity has to be bigger. What is this quantity? This is 3 square. So this is 3 raised to 22. अब क्या आया मेरे पास? यहां से 3 raised to 22 is bigger than 2 raised to 32. So naturally 3 raised to 27 जो है, जो इससे भी बड़ा है, वो तो होगा ही इससे बड़ा. Fine. This is the proof. This is the mathematical proof of the comparison. For what did I do? I worked on my initial hunch. My initial hunch was कि ये number बड़ा होना चाहिए 3 की power. So I started from a known power of 3 which is bigger than known power of 2, and then I made this smaller of them 2 into the number that they have been asking. After that conversion, I tried to make the bigger number into the number that they are asking. This is the algorithm. Let us see some other questions. ये हमने देख लिया. Let us look at this. 2 raised to 34 and 3 raised to 26. Fine. Again, my initial hunch is that powers of 3 increase very, very quickly. So this could be bigger. So I'll start with 3 square less than 3 square greater than 2 cube. अगर ये भी गलत होता है, then I'll start reverse. I'll take a known power of 2 which is bigger than known power of 3. My initial hunch could be wrong. That is very much possible because this is a hunch. Now I'll convert this 2 की power into this 2 की power 34. So I'll take 11th power. So I'll get 3 raised to 11 into 2 na. 3 raised to 22 is greater than 2 raised to 33. Then I'll multiply by 2 on both the sides. So I'll get 2 raised to 34 greater than is less than 2 into 3 raised to 22. So I'll replace this 2 by 3, even bigger number. So this is definitely true. So I'll get 3 raised to 23 greater than 2 raised to 34. And this number is definitely smaller than this. This 3 raised to 26. So I have definitive proof that this is bigger. I'll take one more example just to show you the reverse. 2 raised to 70 and 3 raised to, let us take 30, not 35, let us take 36. Now I think that 70 is much bigger power. So my initial hunch is that this number would be bigger. So what do? I take known power of 2 which is greater than known power of 3. So 2 raised to 5 greater than 3 raised to 3. So now 3 raised to 3 2, I have to go to 36. So I'll take 12th power. So I'll have 2 raised to 60. I'm taking 12th power of both the sides less than 3 raised to greater than 3 raised to 36. एंड इससे तो 2:70 बड़ा ही है. सो आई हैव माय प्रूफ. Decide the comparison between square root of 2 and cube root of 3. Again, we can write, it's a very interesting simple question, but it might be confusing. Square root of 2 can be written as 2 raised to 2 by 1 by 2, and cube root of 3 can be written as 3 raised to 1 by 3. Now I want to get rid of these fractions. I want to work with integers. So I'll take a common power of both of them so that the fraction gets vanished. And if you look at it, 2 and 3, LCM is 6. I'll take power 6 of both the sides. And I have to decide the comparison. Because I'm taking power 6, it doesn't matter. Inequality won't change. So I'm taking 6 power of both the things. I'll get 2 raised to 3 here. I'll take 3 raised to 2. And this is 8, this is 9, this is bigger. So this quantity is bigger. I hope you understood. Question 3 raised to. Decide the greatest among this following: 3 raised to 5, 4 raised to 40, 5 raised to 30, 6 raised to 20. Observe the powers 20, 30, 40, 50. HCF is 10. So what if we talk about them in this form? 4 raised to 4 raised to 10, 5 cube raised to 10, and 6 square raised to 10. Now we have same powers. When the powers are same, bigger the base, bigger the number. So now just we have to compare the base. This 3 raised to 5 is 243. 4 raised to 4 is 4 raised to 4 would be 256. 5 cube is 125. 6 square is 36. Which is biggest? So which is biggest? 4 raised to 40. Right? I hope you understood what I'm trying to say. This was the PYQ. Which of the following are smallest? If you look at it, this is power of 2, here 4, here 8. Firstly, we can compare them only. We can convert this 4 and 8 into base 2. This is 2 raised to 40. This is 2 square raised to 18. And this is 2 cube raised to 12. Here we have 2 raised to 36, 2 raised to 36. Question is smallest. So ये तो होगा ही नहीं smallest. We have smaller numbers. And naturally, logically सोचो, क्या एक क्वेश्चन के दो आंसर हो सकते हैं? स्मॉलेस्ट दो हो सकता है क्या? बिल्कुल नहीं हो सकता, बिकॉज दिस टू आर सेम क्वांटिटीज, इक्वल है. तो स्मॉलेस्ट यही होना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज दिस इज लार्जर. तो आंसर एनीवे इज 3 raised to 21, दैट यू ऑलरेडी नो. बट लेट अस स्टिल कंपेयर 2 raised to 36 with 3 raised to 21. नाउ योर हंच इज दैट 2 raised to 36 इज बिगर. क्यों है? क्योंकि तुम्हें ऑलरेडी आंसर पता ही है. एंड लेट अस स्टार्ट विद देन 2 raised to 5 इज ग्रेटर देन 3 का क्यूब. Now 3 का क्यूब से we want to go to here. Take 7th power of both the sides, so we get 2 raised to 35 greater than 3 raised to 21. And 2 raised to 35 से 2 raised to 36 बड़ा ही है. So naturally 3 raised to 21 is smaller than 2 raised to 36. So answer is B. Next, few questions. See, 10 raised to 6, 10 raised to 6, they can be cut. So answer is, larger is 6.7 into 10 raised to 10. Here we have 10 to the power 12, here we have 10 to the power 8. So let us make power same. 2123 into 10 to the power 8. And here we have 3300 into 10 to the power 8. क्योंकि मैंने 10 to the power 4 से multiply कर दिया इधर, so 8 यहाँ पे बाहर बच गया. Now this 8 can be cut and smaller is this quantity. Smaller पूछा है तो वो है. Then we have 12 into 8 raised to 6. 12 is prime factorization, 2 square into 3 into 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 2 cube raised to 6. 8 is 2 cube, na? And here we have 2 square and 3 square raised to 3. Again, I'll simplify. 2 square, this is 2 raised to 6, 3 is 18, 18 and 2, 20, 2 raised to 20 into 3. Here we have 2 square and 3 raised to 6. 1 3 can be cut, it will become 3 raised to 5. Here we'll have 2 raised to 18. So we have to compare 2 raised to 18 and 3 raised to 5. Naturally कौन सा बड़ा है? This is much bigger. I think you don't need to calculate even. दिख भी रहा है कि आपको कि ये नंबर बहुत बड़ा होगा. Fine. I hope this was helpful. With this, arithmetic is done. This was extension of arithmetic only. So thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful. If you have any doubts, you can put them into comment section, and you can find all the booklets on my Telegram channel, CSE/IFS with Abhishek. And thank you for watching. And I'll come back with next lecture soon.